Hi everyone, welcome back to another lesson. We can continue where we left off. Basically now we're gonna edit our post and obviously update our post in our controller. Okay, so that will be basically in our post controller, and obviously we're gonna test. So this is gonna be a relatively short video, I hope. So let's go to resources, views, dashboard, post. We updated our create method right here with the new tags. Okay, so basically copy everything inside your create folder, everything. Okay, then you go to your edit view. Okay, and then you just paste them in there. Okay, just make sure we got all of that in. Okay, so we got all of it. Post. Okay, and underneath what we're going to do is we just change the button to update. Okay, now we need to go to our controller so that our controller is actually redirecting us to this view right here. Okay, so we're just going to do post controller like that. Right, so inside our controller we actually just want to return the edit view. Right, this view right here. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to return a view. Okay, this is our edit. We're just going to return a view dashboard.post.edit. Right, but now there's a couple of things. We need to send in certain information to our view. All right, the first one, we can actually, let's create, because I've shown you the array method like this. Okay, and I've also shown you the compact method like this. Okay, now I'm just going to pass it in a compact method. Let's just do the compact method for this one so that you can learn different things. Okay, now we're going to create a variable called, we need to pass through the post, obviously this one right here. So we're going to pass the post that we receive. The next thing we need to pass through is obviously the tags. Okay, so tags. And the tags is going to equal to the tag. Okay, just make sure it's imported at the top and all the tags. So we're just going to import, make sure it's imported. No, like this. Just have to make sure it's imported at the top. Right, so it's imported. Perfect stuff. Right here, just make sure that it's imported at the top right there. Okay, so it's good. Right, the next part that we're going to need is all the categories. So let's do that, because when you use a update is supposed, you might want to change the categories to a different category. So let's do that, and just going to do category. Okay, all of them. Okay, so then we can just put in here tags and obviously categories. Hopefully we didn't leave anything out, and let's go to that view. Okay, so we just the tags all and the categories, all the categories. So let's move to our post.edit. Right, so we're obviously sending our post to this form. So we're going to change the post title right here, the input value. Right, we've got the input type, the name, the value right here. We're just going to change that to be the post. Since we're using the blade syntax, we're just going to change it like this, to post dot title. Okay. If you do this, the normal HTML, you're going to get an error. Okay, so we're using the blade syntax. Just put the value like this, post or title. Let's see if it works. Let's go to our browser. If we refresh, let me make this a bit bigger. We're going to go to the edit. Let's go to the last one. Let's just descending to the post title. This one right here. Let's just go to edit. As you can see, it fill in the title right there. So basically, that's what you want to happen. Now, the next part is we want to obviously the category that the user actually did select to be selected. Okay, so let's go to the VS Code again. All right, we got it here. I saw a C somewhere there for some reason. All right, here it is. Okay, let me just delete it. All right, now the thing is with the category, what we're going to do is we're just going to inside your options right there. Right, there's basically the closing tag right there. What we're going to do is we're going to put an if statement. All right, if the category post, okay, the post that, okay, dot category dot ID is equal to the category ID. All right. So basically the post dot category ID, the post that we're passing through here, this post right here with the model binding, because this is actually the post we're working with. Right, that post, if that category ID is equal to the category ID that we're sending through this categories right here, all right, because we're looping through that categories, then just basically put in the field called selected. Right, it's obviously styling everything automatically, not very nice, but okay, so let's see if it works. It's not if it must work, it actually must work because the logic is right. So let's refresh. Right, it's not doing anything. Let's go back. The logic is right. I just need to remove the please select the category. Just delete this, okay, and obviously save it. Okay, so we don't have to, let me show you. Okay, so if we save that and go back, and if we refresh, you will see it's holidays right here. But let's go to the index. Now this one, let me just go to descending. This one has got the category ID of camping. So if we go to edit, you will see it select the camping category. Right? If this one is holidays, and if we go to holidays, it obviously select holidays. So it is working. Just remove the top part to say that it must select the category. Okay, so if we go back, descending, let's go to this one. So if you want to change the category, obviously you can change it to whatever you want, but that's all good. It selects the right one. If we refresh, you can see it brings in the title and even the camping right there. Right, so we wanted to auto-populate our body section right here. So let's go back. Right, so this part right here. So basically in between the two tags, we can just add, I think this is the way you do it for the Blade UI kit. But let's try first, and if it's not working, I'm just going to consult the documentation. Just put the body right here. Okay, so let's go back. Right, as you can see, it actually populates what we actually written down, AWS, ASD, ASD, AS. Right, so it brings in the data. The next part is obviously our select menu for the date, and I want this to be populated as well. So let's go back. Okay, so what we do in our pick a day, we're just going to replace it with value, and we just add basically the post dot published at. Just let me know if this size is fine for you guys as well. If it's fine, I'm going to keep it. No, but let me just stay with it like this because it's easier to see. But the problem is if I have too many things, it becomes quite difficult. Right, so we just add the post.value, just a value for the published ad. So let's go to the browser. Okay. And if we edit this right here, let's edit this one. Okay, it brings in the date as well. Okay, so that's good stuff. And obviously our tag moved right there, our body. Right, so I just remember to include the label for the body. I'm just going to change this to body because I copied it down and I actually cut it out. So just make sure the body has its own label. We got our schedule date, so that's working. Now the thing is, we need to be able to do the same for the tags as we did with the category. So hopefully everything works. Okay, so what we're going to do inside, basically inside our options. Okay, right there. So this is your opening less than, and your greatest then sign for your option tag. So inside that, we actually want to put our logic so it select the right tags for us. Okay, so let's do that. The thing is, before I do this, I actually think I need to, I found an easier way to do this. So if we go to our post controller, right here, we can say post, let's do, we can call it old tags. Okay. All right. Now the old tags is basically going to be this post tags. Okay. Then just plug the ID. I put in here selected tags. Let's just put it old tags. Plug the ID. And basically the old tags is the previous tags of the post. That's why I'm putting it old tags. Then to an array. Okay, like this. So, as you can see, the old tags is basically the post previous tags. We're just going to plug the ID and we turn it to array. So let's see if we return, or let's do a die and dump of the old tags. Okay, let's see what happens, what it looks like. All right, so we go to our browser, we go to edit, we get an empty array right there, which is good because there's nothing when we populated when we run the migrations to create post, we didn't actually see the database with an array on the previous post. But the two that we created, we actually put in some tags. Right, as you can see, we got an array of the IDs of 1, 2, and 3. All right, so that's good stuff. So we know the old tags is working. So what we're going to do now, we're going to go to our edit view. Now inside here, inside the options, we're going to put an if statement. This if in the array, so like in array, okay, the tag ID, the tag ID is inside the old tags, then we can just say selected. And fingers crossed and hope it works. So basically what we're saying is if it inside the array, if I didn't include the ID right there, just Control Z, right. So basically what we're saying is if the ID is inside the array is equal to the tags right there, just put the selected field in that options. Okay, so if this tag ID is equal to that ID, just put selected. All right, and hopefully that works. Let me save it. Okay, and then let's go to our browser. Okay, and let's click on this one. Let's go on edit. And as you can see, it gets the tags for us included there as well. All right, so we got our tags. Now let's say we chose one that doesn't have tags. Let's go there. Right, it fills in the fields, it selects the right categories, and yes, it doesn't fill in any of the tags because it didn't get any tags. All right, so now the last one we need to do is the meta description. Okay, so let's do that. All right, so in our meta description, where is it? We got our tricks right there, and in here we're just going to add post dot meta description like this. Let's see if it's working. Okay, so if we refresh, you will see we got our post body holidays, and obviously there's no meta description on this one. Let's go to our index with one that does have. Just choose the latest one. Right, it fills in the fields for us right there. Okay, so now we're going to do the update method. Okay, and we're obviously going to do an update request as well. So let's go do that. Right, so inside our post, we're going to deal with the update right here. Okay, so in our edit method at the top right here, we've got a form field post.store, but this have to change to the posts.update. Okay, and we're obviously going to add the post right there as to say which post it is, because it's going to require the post parameter. Okay, good stuff. So let's go inside here and let's just return the request. Okay, let's just return the request and see what happens. Okay, so go to the browser. So if we just put update, just big letters, so we know this is the updated version, and let's press update. Post dot up. Just look at my spelling there, boys. Angles. Let me just change that. Wow, lovely spelling. All right, let's go back. Okay, so let's just try that again. Update. Post method. Oh yes, that's another error. If you get this error, please don't be afraid. There's nothing serious about this one. Let's go to our. I think I'm going to keep the error in for you guys, just to show you. So if you do get them, you're not going to be afraid. Okay, let's go to our VS Code. Now inside here, we would have normally done this with the old forms, but we're using the Blade component kit. We would have done this method, and we just would have put right here. But since we're using the Blade UI kit, okay, so we can just add the method like this. Method equals to put, just like this. Okay, so if we have used the form like this, if we use the form, not the Blade UI kit form, then we would have included it like this. Add CSRF, okay. As you can see, this form includes it automatically. And underneath that, we would have done method of put like this. Okay. This is just to spoof the put method for ourselves. Okay, so we just put the method in there. Let's hopefully now it works. All right, so let's try that again and do update. As you can see, it returns the updated title for us there, with the div actually includes the tags and the meta description, the body. So everything is very, very good. Now, the thing is, what we're going to do now is we're basically going to create an update request, and then we're actually just going to save it to the database, and then we're all done. All right, so let's do that. So basically, we got it here. So we show that we get to the update part right here. So let's quickly create a request. Okay, so let me just make this smaller. Okay, so we're going to do PHP artisan make a request. The request we're going to make is going to be called the update post request, because the update post request was different from the store post request, but they're very similar. So let's quickly go to our request folder. Let me show you. So under app, HTTP request, we will have now an update post request, and this one was the store post request. Now we're going to open the store one and the update one. All right, so we got them both next side by side. We're going to turn obviously the authorized to true and copy everything inside the rules like this. Okay. Let me just do it like this. Now, the only thing that I'm going to change in here is basically the cover image. I will just change it to sometimes. So because the user might not change his image, but it will change everything else. So yes, okay. So then we just keep that like that, and then we save it. And that's all we're going to do in this one. We just change it to sometimes. That's the only difference between the two. So you could have decided like you're only going to do one request, and you're just going to call this sometimes. But the problem that you might face is that the user might not put the image in the beginning, but this is all up to you. So you can decide what you want to do and stuff like that. I'm just showing you what you can do. All right, so you can have two different requests in the same controller. For us, for the update, we're just going to do the update post request. We're going to include it there. So this is basically going to do our validation, and we must make sure that it's imported at the top right here. So make sure right now we got our update and our store one right there. Okay, so that's all good stuff. All right, so let's basically update our post. So our post.title, okay, so our post.title is equal to the request.title, okay, and basically we do all of the stuff that we've done up here. Let me just copy them. Copy the store method and just put it in here. All right, so we don't have to kind of do everything all over again. Okay. Another method that people like to use is like post, like I said before, post.update, update, and they can just do request basically all, but I really don't recommend it. So you don't have all these lines of code, you basically just have that one line, just this line. Okay, so that's the only line that you will have, but you can do this if you already included the fillable fields, and that won't be a problem, but I would still recommend not doing that. Okay, so if I can spell. Yeah. All right, so post.update request all. That's one method, then you don't have to do all of this. So you only got one line of code, but I don't recommend doing that. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is basically we're going to do the if. Let me just copy this part right here, the image part, and bring it inside our update method right here. So basically, if it has the cover image, then do the rest. Now, it only got one slight difference in the update. Now, the thing is, if the user changed the image, we actually want to delete, so like file, we want to delete basically the old file of the user. So basically the old image inside the storage right there. Otherwise, if we don't do that, all the images basically will block up the database, and that is not a good thing in your disk drive, not a database. All right. So we actually want to delete that. So we're actually just going to import the file facade for ourselves. So let me just import it right here. So the import support facades file. So just that one right there. And we're just going to do a delete method on it. Right. Now, what are we going to delete? We're going to delete this right here. Right. So let's just put it in there, the storage path. And then we're going to, let me just finish it off, and then obviously concatenate. But the thing is, I want to do the old file name right here. Okay, so what is the old file name? The old file name, well, basically, let me just put it like this, old file name will basically equal to the post dot cover image. Right, so basically this is the old file. This doesn't come from the request, it actually comes from our post right there. Right, so basically what it will do is it actually delete that post in that public path. Okay, so let me just close it off. All right, so once that's done, yeah, don't forget, like this is opening parentheses, and then we got a another set of parentheses in the inside. Just make sure you close them off. Right, so the old file name is basically just a path to the old image that we're going to delete right there on the storage path right there. Okay, so the next part that we're going to obviously do is we need to save the post. You see, we only do this function if it has a cover image in it, in the request. Okay, so they can just do post.save. All right, and then obviously if there is tags, we're just going to do post.tags, and then we're just going to sync the tags. Come on, sync, yes, and then it's just going to be the request.tags. Okay, so once that is done, we can just return and redirect. The return, redirect, to route. Post.index, okay, with success. And then we can just say basically post successfully updated. Awesome stuff. Okay, so we obviously semicolon right there. We got an error. Right, so let's see if it works. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep the update in there. I'm not going to choose an image. I'm going to keep it as camping. I'm just going to add lorem ipsum. This just for myself. Just one tag instead of two. And lorem meta. Okay, hopefully it works. Press update. Post successfully updated. So if we're going to go to descending, you will see we got our title right there. We got our category of camping. So basically it updated it. And if we go to the edit, you will see lorem ipsum is installed in the body. We only have two tags and the lorem meta right there. All right. So that is it for us, guys. So if you have any questions or any, if you need anything to be made clear for you, please put it in the comment section. And like the video if you like it, dislike it if you didn't like it. And as always, thank you guys for watching. And in the next one, we're just going to do the delete method of the post. That will be a short video. And yes, and then we're going to play around with our main page and actually pull in the post and stuff like that. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.